Welcome to The Real Report. Head for the bunker or your nearest 1950s school desk. We're going to be looking at the KERCH STRAIT bridge and Zelensky's ominous warning just before the explosion happened. What this might mean moving forward. We're heading into very dangerous waters. This is, frankly, the closest we've been to the Cuban Missile Crisis to date and the highest chances of nuclear Armageddon. I had to travel out of state for a funeral, which took longer to get back from than anticipated, so apologies for the absence. However, our daily Duke Nukem reports will now resume. Thanks to Rob for reaching out in my absence. And also a quick note, when we hit 500 subs, I'll be able to post text updates on the channel, so communication will be open. Now, hopping right into the two articles, again, we're going to be talking about this one. The large explosion destroys part of the key bridge linking Russia to Crimea. Zelensky says this is just the beginning. Well, just yesterday, on October 7th, 2022, Zelensky's call for NATO preemptive strikes on Russia, an attempt to spark World War III. The Kremlin says we're going to be covering the bridge first with video, so stick around. Again, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Now, Russian authorities said that an explosion involving a truck on Saturday caused a fire and destroyed a section of a bridge linking Russia and Crimea. The bridge is regarded as a key supply route for Russian troops in southern Ukraine. The Crimean bridge, also called the KERCH STRAIT Bridge or KERCH Bridge, is a structure 19 kilometers or 12 miles for those of us in the west in length that passes across the KERCH Strait and links southern Russia to the Crimean Peninsula. The KERCH Strait links the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov, in case you want to get your maps out. A truck exploded on the bridge around 6 a.m. local time. Russia's National Anti-Terrorism Committee announced that the explosion caused a fire on the parallel rail section where 7 railway cars carrying fuel caught fire. The blast also caused a partial collapse of 2 sections of the bridge. Here's a video. So you can see that section there. And then we've got some higher resolution ones right here. Personnel of the Russian Emergencies Ministry and the road services are working on the site to contain the blaze, which has since been contained. Ferry service is ready to be launched and is going to be operating, should be already since it's past noon Eastern time. Here's a video, which I'll replay. And pause right here. This looks like, if I had to guesstimate, about 75-ish yards or so. I can't quite tell where the bridge drops off there. That was destroyed, so I believe they'll be able to have this up and running within the next 48 hours or so, depending. They've already got the supplies on the way, and the train, the rail system is still working, and I believe transport has already resumed. The Crimean Peninsula is key to sustaining Russia's military operations in the south, and while Russia seized the areas north of Crimea early during the invasion and built a land corridor to it along the Sea of Azov, Ukraine is pressing a counteroffensive to reclaim them. The explosion on the Crimean bridge took place hours after multiple explosions early Saturday hit the eastern Ukrainian city of Kharkiv, which triggered a series of secondary explosions. Here's another picture where that chunk of bridge has fallen into the sea. Bridge explosion is the beginning from a Ukrainian official. Zelensky's aide geniusly wrote on Twitter saying that the explosion is the beginning. Tweeting, Crimea, the bridge, the beginning. Everything illegal must be destroyed. Everything stolen must be returned to Ukraine. Everything occupied by Russia must be expelled. He wrote in English. Again, that's a quote. Podolyak previously in August threatened the bridge, telling The Guardian that the bridge is an illegal construction and the main gateway to supply the Russian army in Crimea, and that such objects should be destroyed. Here's another video. There's the explosion. I'll replay it. Of course, some people are questioning who leaked the surveillance videos so easily and quickly. Here's another picture from the sea. Zelensky and other Ukrainian officials have also previously stated that Ukraine will use force to retake Crimea. In case anybody's unfamiliar with the history, Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine in 2014 with a referendum. The Crimean Bridge is a $3.69 billion or 230 billion ruble project. It was constructed following the annexation of Crimea, and the parallel bridge for rail traffic opened the following year. Before the bridge's existence, the Crimean Peninsula could only only be reached from Russia by sea or air. It was Russia's only land link to the peninsula until Russian forces later seized more Ukrainian territory on the northern end of the Sea of Azov, and heavy fighting, particularly around the city of Mariupol, after the invasion this spring. Now, most interestingly, Zelensky's calls for NATO preemptive strikes on Russia, an attempt to spark World War III, which he stated yesterday, October 7th. This came out at about 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Why should NATO do or eliminate the possibility of Russia using nuclear weapons? That was a quote. That preemptive strikes so that they, the Russians, know what will happen to them if they use it, and not the other way around. Do not wait for Russia's nuclear strikes and then say, oh, since you did this, take that from us. Reconsider the way you apply pressure. This is what NATO should do. Reconsider the order in which it applies pressure on Russia, the Ukrainian leader added. Now, the Kremlin spokesperson had statements marking, quote, are nothing but a call to start a world war, which would result in unforeseeable, disastrous consequences. Yes, nobody wins in nuclear Armageddon, which our administration is chomping at the bit for. Anyway, the Kremlin adds that this is exactly why special military operation was launched, to, quote, neutralize them. Also, on the same day as Zelensky's call for preemptive strikes, again yesterday, today is Saturday, Biden said that the threat of nuclear Armageddon is at the highest level since the Cuban Missile Crisis, and that the U.S. is trying to find an off-ramp for Russia before they begin the use of tactical nuclear weapons. Do not take these things lightly, guys. Putin has been saying, I'm not joking, I'm not bluffing, I'm not bluffing, I'm not bluffing. He's going to have no choice but to save face. I think everybody should be concerned about any retaliatory strikes that are going to happen now. If you guys think about it, Nord Stream has already been sabotaged. The Ukrainian offensive has worked out spectacularly well. And now they strike in Crimea, which again was annexed in 2014. Putin has said repeatedly, if Russian territory is attacked, they will use all means necessary to defend it. So I'll be curious if they decide to go full mobilization, bring Belarus in, or even start using low-yield, smaller tactical nuclear weapons. This is very serious. Again, they're saying that where does he find himself in a position that he does not only lose face, but lose significant power in Russia? Again, that's the trillion-dollar question. The ball is now in Putin's court. He is not joking when he talks about potential use of tactical nuclear weapons or biological and chemical weapons, Biden says, because his military is significantly underperforming. That's a quote again from Biden. I don't think there's any such thing as the ability to use tactical nuclear weapons and not end up with Armageddon. We're heading into very dangerous waters and very interesting times, to say the least. Now, following Zelensky's office tried to walk back the statement, saying that they did not call on NATO countries to preemptively use nuclear weapons against the Russian Federation, he spoke about the period before the start of a full-scale invasion. So now they're trying to say, I didn't mean it. I meant in February, not now, as the West, no doubt, advised him to try to unscrew the dog, as they say. So keep a close eye on this. I think we're definitely heading into heightened possibilities right now. Of course, these things aren't good for anybody in the West or anybody anywhere in Europe, especially anybody in Ukraine. Again, Putin's going to have to save face and do something to retaliate here. Like I said, the ball's in his court, so watch closely. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below anything interesting, and I'll see you guys in the next one.